tariffs. Those are everyone's talking about the tariffs being delayed for 30 days. This is from CTV breaking that news. So we're gonna watch this now. After we saw Poilievre's rhetoric and posturing there, I thought it was pretty good because there's a huge who's gonna be dealing with this war as a total. Like right now, the whole first dispute is being handled by the Liberals, but I feel like this is just heating up. You know what I mean? Like this we're probably not going to reach the end of it. I can't see that happening with the current way that we're running things and with this prorogation happening. I really hope this prorogation just comes to an end and they at least address this major issue together collaboratively. To me, that would be the real Team Canada approach, to have Parliament address this issue, not just the Liberals. And that is where I think they're really lacking. And that's
It'd
why
be
it's making people not trust
Poilievre's
them. It's like the whole prorogation needs to end. But
in my opinion, I think it would be a point in Poilievre's favor for him to just do that. Like if it has to get passed through Congress, just do it. Or sorry, the House of Commons, just do that.
Yeah.
Vashi, and now we've managed to connect with her again. Okay, Vashi, 30-day reprieve.
30-day reprieve. That's the headline, Sandy. Breathe at least a month-long sigh of relief, the Prime Minister putting on X just moments ago. I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. 10,000 also the number of troops that Mexico announced would be heading to their border. The statement goes on to say from the Prime Minister, Sandy, in addition, and this is all new, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I have also, the Prime Minister writes, signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be, backing it up with $200 million. Proposed tariffs, and here is the headline, Sandy, will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. So the crisis we thought would be taking place as of midnight tonight is averted for at least a month.
Okay, and that buys us some time. But
Fentanyl czar is such a funny name.
There's a long checklist of things to happen. Canada's already committed to border security. We've already said
now
that we're going to be.
Like, what is these titles? Czar? Like, what is czar? It means like emperor, doesn't it? Like, why are we calling?
Yeah,
it's such a weird thing to call people. Like, it's not even an official
it's really
title.
out.
It's like it's a slang word for it, really.
Out of use term for sure.
Working towards making sure that fentanyl doesn't cross the border. So does it seem to you that Donald Trump was just looking for a little more from us?
It's a great question, and I think if I could figure out exactly what Donald Trump was looking for, I would perhaps have figured out our national and international crisis at this point. But I take exactly what you mean, right? Like, I think
Poilievre's answer to that was Poilievre's answer to that was really good. Just saying you'd have to ask Trump. Like, that's the best thing he could have said.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job with that speech, handling a lot of those questions. I personally, but I consider myself conservative. So take my opinion with a grain of salt if you're not conservative. Saul is considered more liberal, so take his opinion very seriously, in my opinion. But yeah, we're just watching this video from CTV. U.S. tariffs against Canada delayed for 30 days. So that means looks like we got a bit of a break. But anyways, we're gonna see what all the mainstream news outlets in Canada have to say about this, and as well as see what American news outlets are saying about it.
Pretext of this in the executive order was the border. But just 2 hours ago, he was talking about annexing us and making us the 51st state, and how terrible a trading relationship we have and how bad that we have been to him, in his view, or to the United States. So I would say, like, my conclusion out of all of this is we may be breathing a sigh of relief at the moment for the next 30 days. But I think that the president still sees utility, whether, the facts bear it out or not, and in most cases they do not, of tariffs, particularly in raising revenue, and as a thing, as he said, a beautiful thing. So I would be nervous to think that this is, crossing the finish line, or we will avert the application of these tariffs on a permanent basis. I think he still sees them as a useful policy tool, which means, the pressure is on, and we'll see what happens in 30 days. But 30 days is better than them coming into effect tomorrow.
That's for sure. Okay, Vashi, thank you.
Actual headline here is that Canada has also secured a pause on the tariffs for 30 days. And this is in a post on X by the Prime Minister. If I could just have the liberty to read it to everyone so that they can see the background. He says, I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop.
So Justin Trudeau tweeted about the whole, okay, that's great. I just had a good call with President Trump. Canada is implementing our $1.3 billion border plan, reinforcing the border with new choppers, technology, and personnel, enhanced coordination with our American partners, and increased resources to stop the flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel. So basically, you know, Trump got a small army from Canada and Mexico to bolster the borders. Like, that's what this got him. Whatever, you guys can take what the whole game, judge it however you want, but this is the result. 10,000
I think it's fine if that's what he wanted.
Borders. But thanks for the super, the Bonzi show. Thank you for the super. Appreciate it. Just gonna read the super out here. Just 1 second. How is fighting our drug problem a bad thing? I don't know. I don't
think anybody thinks it's a bad thing.
No, I think everybody agrees it's a good thing. I think CBC might. I don't know. Maybe CBC has some weird ways of selling things, but
yeah, I don't know.
The flow of fentanyl. Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are and will be working on protecting the border. Now, here's where the new stuff comes in. Oh, there, you've got it up. Great. In addition, Canada is making new commitments to appoint a fentanyl czar. We will list cartels as terrorists, ensure 24/7 eyes on the border, launch a Canada-U.S. joint strike force to combat organized crime, fentanyl, and money laundering. I've also signed a new intelligence directive on organized crime and fentanyl, and we will be backing it with $200 million. Proposed tariffs will be paused for at least 30 days while we work together. So that is the news. Obviously, this is just breaking. This is just coming in. But the call at 3 p.m. between the president and the prime minister has clearly resulted in a deal, much like the one we have been reporting on with Mexico, to hold off on the tariffs for 30 days, I guess, to see how this actually gets executed and whether it's enough to satisfy Donald Trump to permanently decide not to hold tariffs, what would be very punishing and damaging tariffs to our economy, but also the U.S. economy beyond those 30 days. So that is just coming in right now. And there will be a meeting, as we know, we've been reporting, between the Canada-U.S. Cabinet Committee of the government, who will obviously be
Team Canada
talking about this, and perhaps we will get further information, especially about these new measures being announced by the Prime Minister, about how they will work.
Karina, I mean, this is just an unbelievable day, right? I mean, you have a 9 o'clock call.
Honestly, it feels like prayers were answered to a degree. Like, I honestly was thinking about this yesterday. I'm like, I don't know where this is going to go. This whole tariff for tariff thing. It's just, I didn't expect it to really go that way. I kind of know, like, you know, I'm it seems like it's gone in a more positive direction than it was looking a few days ago. However, it's still like, it's almost like they just raised the axe, but the axe is still there, right? It's not gone yet, but we'll see. And hopefully with all these new implementations and this new approach, he'll be happy with it and there'll be no more tariffs. I'm hoping for at least for Canada and, you know, U.S. trade. Like, I just feel like that's something we're really not doing either country any favors, I feel like, with this whole dispute.